Now those of you at home and also those of you here, please turn in your workbook to the page that says, what would I like to get from this course? Now before you take some time to fill it out, I just want to say a couple of things about it. Make this a wish list of anything you could possibly change or improve in your life. It might be hard to imagine how 4 days of a class or 8 segments of a videotape could really change all the things in your life that you're wanting to change. But believe me, this technique is a lot more powerful than you can possibly imagine right now. The benefits that you will achieve will far outstrip all your expectations. Plus, it's a technique that will be with you for the rest of your life. So once you start applying it, you'll continue to see benefits. So write down anything that you could possibly want to change or improve in your life, and then we'll move on. What we're going to do now is just talk a little bit about the chart of emotions. And again, if you make sure you have it out here and also at home. Now this chart is an objectification of your subconscious mind. What I mean by that is as you work with this chart, you'll see there's very little that you experience every day that can't fit into one of these categories. Every feeling that we have you'll find will fit into one of these categories. And now the reason they're in categories is it really helps. Very often when we think of our subconscious, it's almost like our junk drawer. You know, you don't even want to look at it because you've got so many things thrown in there, all jumbled up together. But if you think about your junk drawer again, or your, I don't know, some people have a junk drawer, they have a junk room, a junk garage. You know, we tend to collect things. Well, we do the same thing with our subconscious. We hold on to a lot of things from the past, and they manifest consciously as our feelings, and they push us around a lot. But most of us don't want to look at our subconscious because of the fact that it's all kind of jumbled up together. Now, one of the purposes of this chart is to help you sort it all out. If you, again, think of your junk room or junk drawer, if you imagine what would happen if everything was categorized and put in little boxes, you would occasionally look for something in there instead of saying, forget it, I'll just buy a new one. I'm not going to look for it. Well, when you have your mind, your subconscious mind, a little better organized like this, and the way your feelings work a little better organized like this, it demystifies them. It makes it easier for you to just become aware of what you're feeling in the moment and be able to start to know what to do with it. Now, if you notice, there are many categories. There's apathy, grief, fear, lust, anger, pride, courageousness, acceptance, and peace. And there are many feelings underneath each one. And what we'll be doing throughout this class is you'll start by getting in touch with whatever feeling you're aware of in the moment. And if it isn't necessarily a grief or an apathy, if you're not aware of it like that, what you'll do is you'll trace it back up to the emotional category. Now the reason we do that is that every time you let go of a little bit of grief, you're letting go of all of these feelings underneath it. So it's much more powerful to let go of grief than to let go of hurt, for instance. So when you trace them back, each feeling back to the underlying feeling, the underlying emotional category, and let go of that, you'll see you move a lot quicker. Also, this chart is organized as a scale of action. In apathy, I think you can see, if you're feeling apathetic, you're not going to get very much done at all. In fact, you'll probably just want to stay in bed all day, and you probably even have had days like that, or know people who have. Whereas, as you move up, you have even, I bet you never thought of grief as being up from anywhere. But grief has a little more energy than apathy, and so on. As you move up this scale, by the time you get into the courageousness, acceptance, and peace, you have a tremendous amount of energy to accomplish positive things. And every time you use the technique, you'll see as you completely let go of any emotion, you'll find you have a tendency to move in this direction. You'll have a tendency to feel better and better. You'll basically, it's interesting, the chart's organized this way, but it's kind of like this. All of these emotions are covering over our courageousness, acceptance, and peace. So as you release your apathy, grief, fear, lust, anger, and pride, you'll start uncovering your courageousness, acceptance, and peace. Imagine what that's going to be like, to uncover all your courageousness, acceptance, and peace. It's going to make a tremendous difference in your life. And we're also going to do something radical by tomorrow. We're even going to start letting go of them. And the reason we do that is that the goal of this course is to help you achieve a state of imperturbability. It's a hard word to say. It's a long word. But the reason we use it is it has a lot of meaning. Imperturbability is a state where no one or no thing can disturb you ever again. Now imagine that. Imagine even as you can see, the world is in a state of crisis right now. And you may even be experiencing your own personal crises at home or at work. But imagine what it would be like to be imperturbable right in the middle of that situation. It's absolutely wonderful to be able to be unshakable even if things are not going your way. And an imperturbable state is not boring. It can be absolutely ecstatic. So as you keep working with the technique that you'll be learning over the next 4 days and next 8 segments of this tape, you'll learn everything you need to reach that top state of imperturbability. And it will be yours from then on. So I think that we said enough about the chart. Now remember to leave it out in front of you. And whenever you need to get a little assistance of getting in touch with what you're feeling in the moment, you can use this chart. In fact, you can just read through this chart, maybe when you're at home or while you're on a break from watching the tapes, and you'll see it will help you get in touch with your feelings a lot more, and you'll be able to do a lot more releasing. So remember to leave it out in front of you. Now I'm going to have Nikki come back up again, and we'll go over another important thing that we'll be working with, which is the Gaines book.
We'll be using the Gaines book a lot over the next 4 days of the class, and all throughout the segments of the tape. Have this handy. You'll be using it a lot. What it's for is to validate your progress. You'll find that as you begin to use the technique and you're having these wonderful gains, you're going to want to write them down. A gain is when you now feel good, when before you were feeling bad. It's really very simple. But one of the things that we do in our everyday life is really to associate with the negative. We're very hard on ourselves. We always look at the bad things we do and not the good. This is going to help you to change that habit. It's going to help you to turn it around and instead start associating with those good things. It's really going to support you in your use of the technique. We also have a tendency to not really be able to see for ourselves how much we're growing or how well we're really doing. So this is really going to validate your progress. It's going to be a very important record for you to have as to your releasing. In fact, you'll look at this book in 3 months' time and you'll be amazed as to really what you've already let go of, how your life has already changed dramatically. The other thing it's going to do is it's small for a reason. It's small so you can carry it around in your pocket or your purse, because it's going to serve as a reminder for you to release. You'll just see it in your pocket or you'll see it in your bag, and you'll remember to use the technique. And that's going to help you enormously also. Gains don't always just come in the form of you now feel good when before you felt bad either. You'll also notice that when you use it and you write down your gains, something else you'll be aware of is that you'll start to have insights about yourself. You'll start to have realizations about other people, about the way they are. And write those things down. Those things are really important too. They're key things for you. If somebody else tells you those things, you might listen for 5 or 10 minutes. Maybe you'll have forgotten it a day later. If you've discovered it for yourself, that means so much more. So do write those things down. They'll be an important part of your progress also. So keep this handy. You'll be using it a lot. Okay. Back to Hale.